So you want to lead in with the double helix stuff, then you want to do the update, then the porn thing.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
correct. So you can start anytime.
all right, what's going down, everybody? It's your boy D Mizzle for Rizzle, up here with the NFO podcast for February 6th, 2014. I'm here with my boy Nupe Fiasco and Nelson Rios. What's going down, everybody?
Good, good.
It's a long day, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it's good that we can hear you right out the box this time, brother.
Shut up. Skype,
But
bro.
we got a lot of news for you guys today. Pardon us looking rough, but we got jobs be killing us, man. But thankfully it's almost the weekend. But we got some huge news and a bit of sad and disgusting news as well. But we're gonna lead off with the big thing that's kind of rocked the video game industry, and that Double Helix got bought out by Amazon yesterday. And Double Helix, as we know, is one of the teams behind the new Killer Instinct that came out for Microsoft's Xbox One, which is a big smash hit. And they're also behind the new Strider game that's coming out on February 18th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, and February 19th for Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and also Steam. So, Newt, man, what do you take of this, man? What do you think this is gonna mean?
I think it means Sony, Nintendo. Well, I would rather say Nintendo and Sony. Microsoft was one of the first to really look at you two and say, you know what? I think we can do that too. Let's tap into this market. And now, look at the fan base and the user base of Microsoft. And a lot of other companies and entities are starting to see the same thing. Now they're looking at Microsoft and they're saying, dang, Microsoft's not that old when it comes to, just pure gaming and console gaming. And look where they are now. Maybe we can do that too. Especially with the casual, and when I say casual, I'm talking about cell phone gaming and stuff like that. People's moms, uncles, aunts, everybody's not willing to invest in a console. So if you have a chance to grab a company, and Amazon has their Amazon Prime service, you can stream movies and do all kinds of stuff. Who knows? You might be able to stream games one day. I think they're acquiring so they can do stuff like that because tablets are exploding. Tablet game, they came out with a gaming tablet. I forget the name of it.
I actually have one. The Kindle Fire right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So no, there's
Yeah,
one there was one they designed for hardcore gaming on the tablet. They sell at GameStop.
Yeah, it's the Kindle Fire HDX, and
That's not the one.
That
I'm
is
not-
the one. It is the one.
I'm not talking about Amazon's in particular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is Amazon's tablet. I got my mom that for Christmas. But but they see that and they say, you know what? This is a game company. They made a great game. Maybe we can get some exclusivity going on here and put out a great title that people can download and play. And that's just a whole nother untapped market by, I think, Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, because to my knowledge, they don't really do the whole tablet, cell phone DLC thing. But if you think about it, far more people have tablets and cell phones than they do gaming consoles. So that's not a bad move.
I totally agree with you, because I do remember reading on a gaming website that Amazon was talking about getting into the gaming market, and I was like, Amazon, really? But seeing as they, then I thought back, I was like, yeah, I got a Kindle Fire HD, and they do offer their Amazon store, and they offer a lot of casual games, and this could be like not them stepping up to say, hey, we want to compete with Sony and Microsoft right off the jump, but this is like a direct shot across the bow of, say, Apple,
Mm-hmm.
So, Nelson, man, what do you think about this huge news, man? What do you think it holds in store for the future of, I know your recent favorite title, Killer Instinct. What do you think about that?
Basically, from what I've been reading on several articles, Amazon Games, I don't know if they're a studio, whatever they want to call themselves, but we'll just say Amazon Games. I heard there was a rumor that they might be coming out with a console to rival up against Sony and Microsoft. and they saw particular interest in Double Helix due to the rise and success of their new IP, Killer Instinct, and soon to be the next one, Strider, the reboot. Also, a lot of fans has been getting a little hesitant on this because they think like, okay, does Microsoft still own Killer Instinct? Does Double Helix fully went off to Amazon and they're not making no more DLC or content or updates after Full Gore's release? And a lot of people are speculating what path it's going to go. But as of recently, I don't remember the guy's name, but a tweet has been sent out from someone from Microsoft, I guess like an executive or something like that, don't really remember. And he was saying that the same people that made KI, which I think is like 87 people strong, are still staying internally in Microsoft Studios to still make the Killer Instinct game. So the franchise won't be tampered or untouched. Basically, more or less, as what you can call it, Amazon Games is like an umbrella over Double Helix, so the funding and everything else might get increased. They might be able to do bigger and better things a lot more faster than normal instead of struggling to just be an upcoming company now.
Right, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad you said that because I was a little bit worried about it. I was like, man, because I know Microsoft does own the Killer Instinct IP since they bought Rare like back in 2004, I believe it was. And I was like, man, what does this mean for the Killer Instinct IP? Because I'm really starting to get into Killer Instinct. My adapter for my joystick, I just ordered that so I can use my 360 joystick on my Xbox One. So that should be here like either tomorrow or Saturday. And I was like, wow, what is this gonna do? Is there gonna be a season 2? But thanks for alleviating those fears, Nelson. And I also. I was dead serious. I was like, man, because even though I'm not like a hardcore fighting game guy, Killer Instinct was starting to get me back into that mode, and I was like, man, this is that game. This is starting to do it for me, and I want to see season 2. And
Right.
I was worried that this purchase really did put that in jeopardy, so I'm glad it didn't. And as far as competition to Sony and Microsoft, I think that's a ways away because even though Amazon has that tablet audience and that cell phone audience, they're not really a big name among the console people yet, so they're going to have to establish a name similar to Microsoft did back in 2001 with Halo. And I think with the purchase of Double Helix and them going out to actively look for other talent, they're looking for that company that can develop that killer app for them, that could springboard them into the discussion like Halo did for Microsoft. Because let's be honest here, without Halo in 2001, Microsoft wouldn't be in the discussion. No matter what else they did after that, without Halo, Microsoft
I would
wouldn't be
say
in the discussion.
Halo and MechAssault. That was a huge game, and it disappeared. Dude, when they used to have that gaming channel network, I don't know, it wasn't called G4 before. They have like teams of like
Tech
5 on
TV.
5. Tech TV, and they had like 5 on 5. I think it was called Arena or something. They would always play Mech Wars, yo, or MechAssault, whatever, and it was
Man,
a
that
great
was
game.
old
And it
school
just
right there.
it died,
boy.
yo.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have part 2.
Disappeared.
I have part 2 still, and I play it sometimes because it's backwards compatible on the 360. And to our audience that is listening, if you have not played MechAssault, I strongly suggest you get both of those games. They're fairly cheap now. They're not collectibles. You can get them for like $5 at a GameStop or a mom and pops if you can roll upon them. And just pop it into the 360 and see what we're talking about because it is a good game. And
Yeah, right. And like you said, Halo is a staple, man. I'm still amazed that Halo will officially, after a while, I mean, not counting the PC or anything handheld, will survive the life cycle of 3 consoles. That's amazing. That's like Mario status, you know. And it's like, you look at Sony. Sony doesn't even really have that. You know, Crash Bandicoot stopped at what, PS2?
yeah.
You know, they never, and I think that's very important with the company. Like, you know, some people are gonna hate it, some people are gonna love it, but you gotta have that staple and icon. Like when you say Sega, you think of Sonic. When you say Nintendo, you think Mario. When you say Microsoft, you think Halo. When you say Sony, you think oh, they've been around for a long time. They're a good console, but what do you truly associate with Sony? They need. I think that mascot kind of helps.
And for a while, it was Crash Bandicoot until that company went third party, and you started seeing Crash Bandicoot on Xbox and Nintendo consoles. So, yeah, you're right. Sony doesn't have that singular franchise that you
They
just
had Spyro,
associate with
too.
Sony. Yes, Spyro's on Xbox and Nintendo too. So
Need to stop whoring out their characters.
Sony's like, hey baby, see that dragon over there? $10 get you like 5 games, baby.
Chasing the dragon, baby. Dang. I just really realized that every company does have their staple. Even the old ones. Even the old companies had their, like, I mean, all the way back to the first Sega Genesis, all the way back to original Nintendo. You always had that one character that carried the generations. And I think, yeah, like you said, that's why Microsoft has survived so long. But that gaming tablet is called the Razer Edge touchscreen gaming tablet. It costs $1,000. It's like hardcore.
Alrighty
gaming.
then.
Yeah.
This one right here, when I got it, it was a gift, but it was $149.99. And it's still a pretty good gaming tablet. Kindle Fire HD. They have a relatively inexpensive model, the HDX, out. So I definitely recommend getting that if you could spend $200. But
this Razer touchscreen, man, has an i7 processor, 8 gigs memory, 128 gig SSD, and only 4 hours of battery life. That's hard.
4 hours only.
Run all that running in a tablet. Heck yeah, you lucky you getting 4 hours.
You could run my tablet right now and get at least like 8. It's like running Facebook and a few other apps right now, and I haven't charged it in about like 3 days.
This tablet has, like, I'm looking at it, has Grid 2 on it. It has all kind of crazy stuff. But anyway, moving forward.
Yes, we're going to get a huge update from Microsoft next Wednesday and on March 11th, right, Nelson?
No, they said March 2nd or 4th for the second update. They're going to try to do it before
Titanfall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Sony just came out with their update, and their update for the PlayStation 4 enables wireless headsets. So if you got a PlayStation 4 and you're a wireless headset guy, update is live, and I know you're rejoicing. So Microsoft, with their latest update, is going to solve a lot of the 2 updates. It's going to solve a lot of problems that people have been having issues with. Main one is, hey, I can't see what's on my hard drive or how much space is on my hard drive.
That was the Microsoft, shame on you. That was the dumbest omission. I can't, oh man. I was looking at the IGN reveal video when they were going through all the functions. They did a live stream of the Xbox One in action, and it worked pretty well. But he was like, yeah, there's no way to see how much space you have left. And with the games being as big as they are, come on, Microsoft.
Yeah, definitely, y'all. I was like, come on, dude. Like, I want to, like, before I get down to that critical point, because I haven't gotten down there yet. Yeah, I haven't gotten down there yet, but from what I understand, before this patch, it would only inform you that you were low on hard drive space when you were actually low on hard drive space. And that's not the point I want to get to before I start having to clear off shit. So that's a good thing, long time coming. Another thing that's coming is party stability. A lot of people were kind of miffed at how the party system shook out. Is like, essentially how the party system in Xbox One is. It's not perfect, and whatever game the party leader is playing is essentially how the party is. Everybody gets like invited to that game automatically. So from my understanding is that it's going to be closer to the Xbox One, Xbox 360's party system, that everybody can be playing whatever they want, and you can just invite a guy or a couple of people into your party and it be the end of it without having to go through all this rigmarole. So I'm happy about that. What do you think about that, Nelson?
I hope they implement the update how I assume they are, because this is what I read so far. First priority update is to check the amount of hard drive space that you're holding within your games and whatnot, so whether if you want to delete it and so forth. Second part of that update is you get to see the battery life now on the bottom right corner of your screen. So now that's very helpful. So I know my shit's gonna die or not. Another thing is about the party. Here's the thing though. Certain games, like such as KI, won't allow you to be in a party chat while you're playing ranked. And I honestly think, to me, that's kind of like foolishness, because it's a one-on-one basis. Like, what you're doing, it's not Call of Duty. You're not cheating. So allow me to be in that party, but I have no idea what route they're gonna go as of not forcing you to be invited to the same game that the party leader is currently playing while you join in, and you by accidentally get sent the invite. I don't know what direction is going to be taken, but what I would like them to do, I hope it is in this update, that you're able to talk to 360 users as well with this party chat update, instead of just being like, co-find a way that I have to go on a 360 or do some crazy shit where hook up my 360 to the back of my Xbox One to have both of them on, go in the party chat, and then leave this shit on while I'm still playing my Xbox One. Like, that would be foolishness.
Yeah, like, as much as I love my man Noop over here, I don't enjoy having to jump back to the 360 to talk to him, especially now with Shinwar. He's not on the Xbox One a lot. He's on a lot of Halo 4
he's
and a lot of
only
Street
playing
Fighter stuff.
Street Fighter and Halo 4. He does not want to play the Xbox One. He stopped playing KI. He bought the arcade stick for nothing. Like, it was a waste of his time. Like,
but yeah, like, I enjoy talking to y'all, but sometimes I just don't want to, like, because I have 2 Ethernet cables running into my little den/computer room over here, and like I have to unplug from the Xbox One to plug in to the Xbox 360 because they're sitting right next to each other. I'm like, I don't feel like doing all this work, but
we ain't worth the time.
You worth the time. I'm just like,
it's
kind of lazy sometimes.
It's too much. That's why I'd rather for them to be able to make it cross-compatible, at least with the chat. I don't care about cross-gaming play. That's I don't give a shit, but give me the option to still talk to my 360 friends on that list, or give the option that we could do voice messages again. Because we can only do texting on the fucking Xbox One. You can't do no voice messages.
Wow.
Yeah, like, I wish both consoles would step it up in that regard, because I know what it involves. It's kind of involved because I do work with coding on a basic level, and it involves like a bunch of codec upgrades, and you have to put the 360 codec on the Xbox One, and then you have to make it like you have to have an emulatable environment so the Xbox One can talk to the Xbox 360 user. So it does take a lot to do that, and understand that it would take similar efforts on the PlayStation 4 to talk to the PlayStation 3 users. But this is something that both fan bases want, because both fan bases still own both systems, the people that do have them. So yeah, I do want that in the worst way. Sony, Microsoft, step it up, please. Begging you. Not a praying man, but I'm praying that you do this for us. But we're gonna move on to another
Nuke,
story.
do you have anything to talk about that, or?
Well, seeing as how I own neither console, it really doesn't affect me that much. I don't care if I talk to y'all or not. Nah,
you know you love us.
Nah, that was not. You know what? And this is just me playing devil's advocate in defense of the new consoles, both Sony and Microsoft. This is just my thinking, as me being, someone who's about to start their own business. Sometimes when you're coming out the gate, whether you're established or not, when you're introducing your clientele to a new product, you got to be careful, because a lot of gamers are finicky. It's like, if you irk their nerves with one thing, they'll jump ship. There's no loyalty anymore. I saw so many people when they saw the price of Xbox One, they had 360, hundreds of games. Oh, a PlayStation 4 is cheaper, I'm switching. I'm like, dang, like, granted, you have the freedom to buy whatever you want. It's your money. But I think they know that, and they're like, all right, when we release, if it's not right, don't put it on there. We just update it. We'll just update it. And that's the way it's getting now. I hate when games do that, though, because I think some people actually release games unfinished on purpose because they know they can patch it. But I think with the consoles, they're really taking their time, because I know they both wanted to avoid a terrible launch, and both of them want to be in the lead. So I think, and and partially it might be a game of chess. Sony, what are you gonna do? Let's sit back and watch what they do. Oh, Microsoft, what are you gonna do? Let's sit back and watch what they're gonna do. Because right now, I'm just assuming it's pretty much neck and neck with consoles.
Oh shit!
But what?
Uh-oh.
No. Go ahead. Nothing happened. I just fucking forgot to change something here.
Thought a bird flew through your window or something. But yeah, I mean, you just never know what the strategy is behind that. But I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna play the company's defense and say maybe they're erring on the side of caution, and they wanted to make sure that the systems are running and stable before they started giving us, other features like that. I mean, they're still early in the development stages and things like that. So, but Microsoft, really, we can't see how much stuff we have on the hard drive.
What's
really,
up, Crazy Rogue?
that was dumb. That was dumb. But other than that, hey.
Okay, I guess getting into the very last topic, Dave. Just to let you guys know, this was brought to my attention by Alex Lexus, who is still currently not here because he is all the way out in Iraq at the moment. So he wanted me to address this topic in this podcast because it's kind of a slightly touchy feeling, and now it can go very wrong in the gaming community, but it'll all be explained as Dave introduces the actual topic. So,
all right. Well, if you got sensitive ears and eyes, I suggest you turn off now because this is a very
Sensitive
mature.
eyes. You gonna show a video?
Yeah, they are watching.
Oh, you said eyes, like we're gonna show the.
yeah, there's no video
definitely not,
footage, so we're not gonna show anything like graphic. or
No,
anything
but
like that.
if you've got some extreme sensibilities, I suggest you turn off now because
All
this
right.
is a very mature part of the podcast, and we're going to get into a very mature topic. And what in England, a 12-year-old boy
That says 13.
raped his 13-year-old boy raped his 8-year-old sister, and claims that he did it because he was watching porn on his Xbox 360 and decided that he wanted to try what he saw. And this is very disgusting and disheartening at the same time because it's like I see this going very sideways in terms of how gaming is viewed because a lot of journalists are going to sensationalize it into something that it's not. It's like, oh, look what video games caused this little boy to do. And I can see Microsoft and Sony taking a huge blow because of this because both of them offer internet browsers on all four of their consoles. And that's not the angle that the media, the mainstream media, should be looking at. I think they should look at, well, this kid, if he was watching porn, he had access, obviously. He could have watched it on his Xbox, on his PlayStation, on a computer, on a DVD. It's not like the stuff is hard to find at all. So I know they're not going to explore that angle, and another angle that they're not going to explore is, well, how did he get access to it? All four of these consoles have parental restrictions that are easily found, that you can lock out your kids from certain types of content. I know Microsoft and Sony have the guide restriction, like how on games they have like a rated T. If you can see that here, I'm holding up WWE 2K14 has a rated T on it. If you set down the guide to only play E games, it'll play E and below, but it won't allow the kid to play teen or above games or view any content that is the equivalent of that in terms of movies or going on websites. So it's not like this stuff is hard to find, but parents, they usually just sit their kids down in front of a console and go, okay, go, and go off and do whatever. Me, when I was coming up, even though I came up in the Nintendo era and the Genesis era and the Super Nintendo era, my parents they sat me down and was like, look, I know there's some mature stuff out there because my mom sat me down. She played Wolfenstein 3D, believe it or not, on the computer. That was one of her favorite games back in the day. And she's like, look, even though this is fantasy, this is part of historical stuff too, taken to the extreme, but I'm going to explain to you the difference between fantasy and reality and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And I was lucky about that. A lot of these kids today, they don't have that. They just have parents who just, okay, video games go. Like today I walked into Best Buy looking for something. A parent was with her approximately 8, 9-year-old kid looking at Grand Theft Auto 5 because the kid wanted it. It was like, okay, let's go. I was like, really? Grand Theft Auto 5?
The worst one yet?
First scene you roll up with Trevor, he's fucking a chick in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Be responsible here. So, Newt, man, this is just making me mad the more I can think about it, bro.
Oh, man.
What do you got to say about this?
I mean, people in general tend not to want to take responsibility for their actions. It's not a Microsoft issue. It's not an internet provider issue. It's, at the end of the day, it's a parent issue. Watch what your kids do. I mean, I remember being 16 when, like, around the time Vice City came out, and, you know, people at the store, GameStop or Funko Land, whatever it was at the time, they had to read. I think it was a law at the time. They had to read, okay, you know, he's obviously not of age. Well, this game is rated M for mature. This game contains strong sexual content, blood and violence, strong language, nudity. They had to read that to the parent. Then you as the parent, you have to make a conscious decision. Okay, he's told me what's in the content of this game, what my kid is going to be exposed to. Now, if you decide to reach in your wallet and pay for that game and hand it over to your kid, whatever happens next is pretty much on you. You can't blame the game developer or anything like that, because if video games didn't even exist, all that other stuff still does. A lot of stuff you see in video games, you can see in a movie. You can see on TV. You can see on YouTube. I mean, Google anything and it'll pop up. Nothing's, you know, restricted now. But like you said, there's safeguards.
Let me cut you off right there. Like, video games go step further than movies do, because if you look on the back of a game right here, rated M, blood, violence. You can look on the back of, I have Avengers right here on Blu-ray. And you know what it tells me about Avengers? It says a blockbuster that will blow you away all your senses. It does not tell me what this movie contains. It does not tell me the level of violence. It does not tell me if there's cursing in this movie. It just tells me that it's a rated PG-13 movie. That's it. Yeah. And there's a vast gulf between what video games disclose and what movies disclose. And I think video games are way ahead of the curve in that regard. But go ahead, Newt.
But, yeah, and parents, like, you know, if you're going to go out there and buy this $300-$400 console, don't you think, and especially for a kid, don't you think you got to know what this console can do and what it's capable of? Like, who just goes spends $300-$400 on something and hands it to a child and walks off? Like, you need to learn something about this console, because now, you know, he had access to a web browser. He now has a DVD player.
Blu-ray
you know what
player.
I mean? Like, or Blu-ray player. Like, you got to know what you're putting into the possession of a child. I mean, granted, he's 13. That means, you know, he's only a 6, maybe a 7th grader, depending on when he was born. So, like, their minds are still young and impressionable. We don't know, you know, how he was raised or whatever. But some kids are just ignorant to things like that, and they see stuff and they go try it. I mean, that's what kids do. But I don't think it's a blow to Sony or Microsoft at all. You can't really blame them for that, because like you said, I mean, he could have had a DVD, he could have seen that on a computer or anything like that. I think it's the parents who need to start monitoring a little bit, well, not even a little bit more, a lot more, man. Look at what you're buying these kids. Like, I have too many horror stories from working at GameStop, and that's part of the reason why I just couldn't do it no more. I got tired of watching elementary school kids come buy Grand Theft Auto IV and Grand Theft Auto V and Grand Theft Auto I. They can't even pronounce the name of the game. And the parent hears all this nasty stuff that's in the game. Oh, he listened to it anyway. Boop. And then when he's cussing you out and punching you in the face when he's 2 years older, you're wondering why. Like, be more responsible.
Totally agree, man. Nelson, bro. What do you got to say to weigh up on this? What do you got to say to weigh up in this on this topic, bro?
Uh, like I don't even know where to begin because this is just ridiculous. Why would a 13-year-old want to do that to his very own flesh and blood? Like that's the thing that's not making any sense. I could have understood if he wanted to experiment, but you chose the wrong route. To basically go and do that too. Where in the fuck was his parents at the time being? Like, why would you leave your son who might have had some troubled times and probably had some signals that he was giving you guys, like showing that he was going into like, you know, this crazy mind state that he might be in. He might be really fucked up in the head. And I hope the parents do realize that now, after this shit has been spread world fucking wide, especially on YouTube. And I just hope that, you know, that this little girl, just like Alpha Omega Sin said it, I hope this little girl is like ridiculously strong within her upcoming years growing up. Because she has to live with this shit, at the fact that her own flesh and blood, not some random stranger, her own brother. And I have people that has been dealt with rape before in their past, and I try to help them through it. It's not the easiest thing to talk to a person about. And the thing is also, I've been reading about parents already filing complaints to Microsoft saying like, oh, why would you have such content to be displayed on there and stuff like that, and it's becoming a whole big thing now. But it's one thing that Microsoft, they did not know that they can access that at the time, but they might have failed to realize that their, what is it called, HTML5, that's now embedded to Internet Explorer, mobile and regular, so you can find porn sites under that source code now of HTML5, which is like an embedded Flash player. And you can watch it on anything now, whether if it's a phone, a console, whatever. So it's just like really hard for anyone to digest that, and it's gonna become a big problem within the next couple of days because this is starting to affect also CNN. This story has already been reported on, so I hope this does not cause a big riot to gaming, but I don't think the console should be in jeopardy to like a serious extent. It might be put more on a restricted level, and it might give us the access to actually, alright, we're gonna safeguard everything now.
Yeah, but you know, now that's making the rounds to the mainstream media. You know, outlets like Fox News or like people like Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, essentially the right-wing media are going to sensationalize this to the nth degree. They're like, oh, they're going to try and place it on Microsoft. They're going to try and place it on Sony rather than putting the onus where it should be, which is where the parents. Just because a kid has access doesn't mean that it's on the company's fault. It's like, okay, let's say a kid watches, let's say a kid watches Saw. 13-year-old kid watches Saw and then goes out and does something real fucked up. Would you honestly put the blame on the movie company, the director, or the actors for making that movie, or would you put the onus on the parents for even allowing the kid to view that? My thought process is to put the onus on the parents, but that's not what the media wants. They want, because the parents can't be made to look like the ones at fault. They have to always be the victims in this, no matter what. And I think that's wrong. But that's the way I see it going, especially with the right-wing media like Fox News, Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Bill O'Reilly, and Sean Hannity, because they're known for doing this stuff. Anytime something happens with a kid, the first thing they do is go blame video games, video game companies, video game developers, video game publishers. Never the parents. And that's just pissing me off to no end.
Yep, and I mean, think about it. I mean, think about the age of your child and thinking about what you're investing as far as a gaming console or what you're buying your kid in general, what you're exposing them to in general. Like, $500 for your child's entertainment at home for a new console, or $400 or $300 for that matter. Like, do you not think you should do some kind of research as to what content this can provide? What is it capable of? I mean, anything. Like, it's like I said before, you're just blindly, it seems like you're just blindly going out there saying, oh, it's the latest thing, all the kids are doing it, he says he wants, because I've had people just come up to me and say, oh, yeah, my son want the new Xbox, or want the new PlayStation, or want this game, or want that game. And my first question is, well, how old is he? Oh, he's 10, or he's 18, or he's 17, and I give advice based off of that. He's 10, you need to be aware of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, you need to know, like, if you buy him this, he's going to have access to all of this. And that's something you should be thinking as a parent. Think about what you're exposing your child to. So, I mean, I'm just going to pray for that family. I mean, I hope it all works out. But you can't blame the content creators, you know, for someone getting access to their content. I mean, it's not like they walked in his house and said, hey, this is how you look at this, you know? So, I mean, like you said, people just need to take responsibility for their actions and the role that they play in things sometimes.
Totally 100% agree, man. Nelson, you got any last thoughts on this topic? Because I think we spent enough time on this disgusting thing.
Yeah.
About this topic, yeah, just, giving my regards and sayings to the family. Hopefully you guys could get, through this. I doubt you'll be watching this video, but if you do come across it, I pray for your 8-year-old daughter. Please, hopefully she gets, the best help possible. Now, this is just me. Your son has to be taking action, immediately. I don't know what you're going to do, but it needs to stop. Because if this keeps going, imagine how much influence it will bring to other 13 or 14-year-old little kids out there. Because I have a 6-year-old cousin in my living room right there. And her brother is about almost 11 or 12 years old. If that shit was to happen, oh my god, I will fucking erupt. But that would be it for that topic. I guess you can make your closing statements about whatever now, and then I'm gonna make a quick little announcement.
Well, I'm greatly looking forward to the new Strider coming out in about 10 days. So, gonna see me on that quite a bit. I don't know what I'm gonna get it for. I might get it for Xbox One, or I might get it for 360, depending on which has the more better content. So look for me on that. I might take some video if it's on the Xbox One. So,
Nope.
But man, this topic has definitely got me down, bro. Definitely got me down.
Yeah. Just keep checking out the page. If you haven't already subscribed to me, Noop1949 on YouTube. Hit me up on Facebook. And just keep watching the podcast. Keep supporting us. What is he making that face for? We appreciate the love and the support, and we do this for you, our fellow gamers, and our fellow entertainment news aficionados, if you will. So, thanks.
All right. Lastly, I'd like to thank 866 of you guys on Twitch, and I'd like to thank about, let's say about 1,000 of you guys on YouTube that has been supporting us through our times as the new Fighting Order company. I would like you guys to continue to subscribing on YouTube. I'd like you guys to continue to following on Twitch so we could build up a partnership base with them and we can give back to the community as we've been talking about within the last couple of years. Also, let's see if anything else. There will be some new content being brought onto the stream in the next couple of weeks. I won't say because it's actually something really big, and I've been trying to get this planned for some time. Of course, donate to us, which will help us with fundings on the streaming equipment. It'll help us increase the quality and the production of what we could do with a green screen. To help us do reviews on different games that you guys might want to see, events, and so forth. And lastly, I will be streaming right after this, so if you guys want to stay tuned on to this channel, just stick around. After I think like 3 minutes later, I will start a random broadcast of our normal streaming thing. But thanks to the Mizzle for Rizzle on your left, thanks to Nuke 1949 on your right for, you know, always helping out with the podcast. And shout outs to you, Alex Lexus, for bringing up the topic of a very sensitive one, but you wanted it to be heard, so it's done. So,
All right, peace out, everybody.
Peace.
all right, guys, I'll be back on in 3 minutes.